Zenith Bank Media, in collaboration with the Bureau of Technical Matters and Ministry of Information and Communications, presents Lest We Forget, a celebration of the magical and pragmatic strides of the Chief Godswill Akwaibom administration in closing the loud development gulf between the past and the present in Akwaibom State. Lest we forget the true story of uncommon transformation.
Around the globe, the official residence of the number one citizen of a state, region, or country is often regarded as a cherished object of pride of its citizens. Such a residence is not only expected to wear a breathtaking and arresting ambience, it is also supposed to be properly maintained and kept in the highest possible pristine conditions, more so as it mirrors the host enclave to prominent visitors. In Akwaibom State, when Chief Dr. Godswill Akwaibom, CON, assumed office in 2007, the rivers held sway in the official residence of the state chief executive. To the consternation of not a few, the hilltop mansion, as the official residence of the state chief executive is fondly called, was in a state of comatose. The building, erected during the military era, was at best a monument of decaying and dysfunctional infrastructure, fit to be utilized only as a museum or historical relic. Aside the many structural and other fundamental defects, the building had lost touch with modern architectural designs, thus making it inhabitable for the number one citizen of a state, let alone that of one populated by those reputed globally for good taste. Lest we forget, the state chief executive takes us down memory lane on the state of the building he was supposed to move into with the first family in 2007.
When we came, we made a very dilapidated government house where we assessed the cost of rehabilitation. It was put at about 1.8 billion. The cost of a brand new one was then estimated at about 2.2 billion. So in the wisdom of the House of Assembly of the state, they passed a resolution that I should bring down the governor's lodge and build a new one. So for the first 2 years I lived in my own house, and we were able to finish this edifice and then hand it over to government for use as a lodge. And so today, it stands as a testament of dedication and good governance.
Being a man of class and style, Governor Godswill Akwaibom in the twilight of 2007 sought and obtained the permission of the State House of Assembly to bring down the old structure, which had become a monumental embarrassment to the state, and build a befitting one to replace it. Barrister Emmanuel Noidem Esquire is a commissioner for housing and urban renewal.
When we took a decision to bring down the old lodge, we took a lot of things into consideration. Professional advice, the history of the lodge, the state of the lodge, the level of serviceability of the building. And let me let you know this. Even before the advent of this administration, the past administration had thought that it was going to be able, before the end of that tenure, 8 years of that tenure, do a comprehensive upgrading of that lodge. They did a design, they called the builders of that lodge, Costain then, to do a comprehensive upgrading of the lodge. But that did not come true. So it is obvious that everything was wrong. From the perspective of the previous administration to the perspective of the current administration. For anybody who ever visited that lodge, you discover that they were, in terms of elevation, the lodge wasn't good enough. It was built by the military. In terms of elevation, it wasn't the best. In terms of structural, in-depth structural design, allocation of space wasn't the best. In terms of maintenance, that lodge had 18 cracks that ran from the roof to the foundation. And there were leakages right up to the bedroom of the governor, where water were collected in pails. You know, he was using pails to collect water right into his bedroom. The carpet, the place was rotten. There's nobody that will ever go into that place that will not see cockroach, will not see, rats running, fighting over themselves. That's the worst thing government was. It was a stop. And of course, the ravine at the back was also approaching.
When news of the government's plan to pull down the rickety structure and build a befitting edifice filtered in, some argued on the need to rather renovate the whole structures. Those who should know speak on why such line of thought didn't make rational economic sense.
First of all, a consultant was employed, to look at the integrity of the building and then propose an intervention on renovation as well. And of course, the figures it came up with was like between 25% less the cost of building a new building. So it wasn't really economical. And of course, you will definitely not have comparison when it comes to integrity of a building. So the integrity of that building was seriously under question. The soil has failed as of the time, and then there was a very big foundation failure of the former facility. And of course, that is why when Julius Berger took up the new building, they had to do what is called soil replacement, and to excavate so many meters there, and then refill with compaction of every 20 millimeters, and you know what that means till it came up to the level of then excavating again to start up the foundation. And of course, what a kind of raft foundation was given so that this could last for over 100 years.
So we took an assessment, an in-house assessment, and we discovered that the dams that was already introduced as a result of the leakages through the cracks into the foundation of the building was something that cannot be cured. We did not stop there. We went further to bring in Julius Berger to come and do integrity analysis of the structure. They also did, and they came out with a view confirming all our fears that the integrity of the building cannot be guaranteed, and that the proposed renovation by the previous administration cannot be rested on the foundation of that building without affecting the integrity of the foundation. So, and that the building was still at risk of coming down if we introduce the renovation. And the cost of renovation that was proposed then, and the cost of a new building, we're hundreds of thousands away, different from each other. So if we can do a new building, just a difference of 200 million, and then do renovation and gain 2 million, 100 million, which one we prefer? So we decided as a government, we advised the governor in council that we need to do a new governor's lodge.
2 years on, a magnificent structure fit for a king's delight stands with all its majestic splendor and grandeur in place of the relic that once occupied the spot. As it is in other climes where the people exude much pride as they make reference to the official residence of their leader, the people of the state and visitors alike air their opinion of the 21st century compliant government house, prided as the best in the country.
What the governor is doing is actually very, very important, because I've walked around the old and the new, and when I compare, I look at the facilities, what is going on. The new facilities that is put in place is well equipped and is fascinating.
That place was too small. Even where we have now, if you look at where we have now, the governor, deputy governor, they have where they stay. But then, I remember where the former governor, His Excellency Obong Bitota, used to stay. And it was, the whole place was, you have to note the fact too, that this state came as a result of creation of state. And then we started in the old local government headquarters of Uyo, where people were squeezed into offices. And then whatever we saw that was looking better, the state moved in from Uyo, where Ogbeha was, into where Ata was. And so that place, for the present situation in the state and the governance that we are having, I don't think would have been enough
With such a magnificent building in place, it was only proper and befitting for the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, to inaugurate it. And this he did in style during one of his many official visits to the state.
Commissioning this project for the use of the governor of Akwaibom State and the successful governor, and all of us who from the diaspora who have much to do in this great state of ours. Commissioning this for the use of the glory of God. Amen.
Today, the Hilltop Mansion is undoubtedly a sight to behold. It comes complete with such ancillary facilities like the First Lady's office, the Government House Chapel, a spacious car park, and a modern clinic to see to the health needs of the First family and their staffers.
It's an edifice that the functionality was put together not only by Julius Bader, but by the functioning Ministry of Housing and the Bureau of Technical Matters, because we, the government part now, knew the mindset of His Excellency, and we knew the workability of what kind of meetings, So we looked at the first sitting area. If, for example, the local government council chairman want to have a meeting, will that be enough for them? So that's why it's big enough to take 31 local government. We'll talk about the paramount rulers. Is it big enough to take over, And then you look at the next facility, and then the next, and see those are private meetings areas, and then you have the banquet hall, kind of a mini banquet hall, where you have not big enough to disturb the family. It was just a banquet hall for VIPs. Then you look at the quality of the facilities there. We went for the best, and of course, the priority of His Excellency Chief Gospel Fabio, success. It's about quality, and so we set a timeline to go out with the contractors to look at the materials that you want to use in building. It's, you won't believe me that up to the tiles, on the floor, we had to say this is exactly what it should be. And for me, once all of this is done, putting them together now become faster and comes out very, very good.
I can sit down here to say that everything you have there, from the profile, the window profile, the aluminum profile of that building, to the tiles that we have there. You can't have that quality of tiles anywhere in this country. We can't have that quality of aluminum profile anywhere in this country, because we got them all from Europe. Yes. All the fittings, everything there is customized. Every light that you see in that building, they are all customized. You can't find them. Go from the banquet hall to the governor's bedroom. They are all customized. Because we have the lodge where the governor sleeps, where the governor has a private banquet hall, where the governor has a meeting about 1 to 4 meeting rooms in that place. We have a private dining both down here and up for the family upstairs. We have we have 5 bedrooms upstairs. We have 2 guest wings in that same building. So that's what we have. Then we have a swimming pool attached to it. We have service quarters attached to it. In the service quarters, we have a saloon. We have the gym house. We have a squad court also within that premises. So that's where the lodge. Then we have, in addition to that, we have a clinic, government house clinic. Then we have a chapel. It's the most beautiful chapel in the hand of any government in terms of design and aesthetics. Then we have security quarters, one for the ADC and one for the Chief Security Officer of the state, CSO, also within that complex. Then we have the water treatment plant, also within that complex. We also did the erosion control work at the back of the house to checkmate the ravaging erosion encroachment at the back. So that's the government house complex. That's what we call it.
If you look at the seats, if you just take a look at the old and the new one, the seats, first of all, will tell you that there's a very clear demarcation. Yes. Then if you look at the wall, you can actually lean on the wall.
We don't have anything. There is nothing there to compare. Everything here is digital now. You see, to be very frank, if you want to look at facilities in the state, while I was driving in, I told my girl in the car that the governor is confusing everybody in this state. At the entrance, at that main gate, what we are seeing there is not what we saw years behind. And so when you talk about facilities where you sit down, you can talk, communicate, everything is digital, online, everything. No. So we don't have anything to compare. It was then, but today, nothing to compare.
A hasty reformer who does not remember the past will find himself condemned to repeat it. These are the wise words of a great scholar, John Bacham. When God's will was done in Akwaibom in 2007 and he emerged governor, Chief Dr. Godswill Oborokpabio CON was certainly at home with the ugly past of the state and had resolved to change it. Little wonder, within just 5 years, the entire landscape has been transformed with a crystal clear difference between the past and the present. As the uncommon transformation train cruises on and a new Akwaibom keeps emerging, it behoves us to place the past side by side the present, lest we forget. Welcome to Lest We Forget, a confluence of the past and the present for the sake of the future. Lest we forget the true story of uncommon transformation.
With the first family comfortably settled in their befitting place of abode, it became necessary for attention to be shifted to the governor's office, exco chambers, and auxiliary accommodations. Not only was the structure hitherto designed to serve as the governor's official office clumsily sandwiched between other offices, thereby impeding the chief executive's convenience and comfort, the whole arrangement rendered the security and privacy of the number one citizen at the behest of all unknown uncertainties. Emmanuel Enoideme Esquire and Engineer Tidunyang speak on how it was and what necessitated a change, lest we forget.
The first day the governor resumed office at the former location, it was discovered that the whole place was porous. No security in terms of gadgets. There was none is available. I'm not even sure any is available except the one we provided under the present administration. The place was poorly finished to start with. So one typical event that happened was that when the governor was already seated in his office, somebody was able to come through what was supposed to be the private entrance of the governor and went straight to the governor's office. So that was how porous the office was, and they call it the governor's office. The space is not enough to start with. The elevation is not something to write home about. And apart from that, the place was becoming choky. You don't know who is coming to look for governor. You don't know who is coming to look for deputy governor. You don't know who is going to look for SSG. Everybody is just slumped in that place and they are staying there. The comfort of the governor's office in the 21st century was totally absent from that building. So it's apart from the security element, which was most an overwhelming consideration, the beauty of the place, the serenity of the environment was also major consideration that worked in the mind of the governor in thinking about developing a new governor's office.
I was part of that building. I sat there as even a special assistant, and the leakages all over the place, the building was dilapidated and abandoned, some other SAs has to find their ways to using, and then we sat back to say what is going on here. The walls are falling apart, the leakages on no matter if you run a maintenance on it, it starts, so you can't even trace the leaking pipes because they were all bad, and then when you get into the ESCO chambers, because we've used it a couple of times, you see investors, really not happy with what they saw there, the inadequate facilities there. The conference tables were all obsolete, so it's something that was not in tune with this decade.
And so, construction giant Julius Berger Construction Company was engaged with a mandate to construct a world-class office for the governor and an up-to-speed with modern technology exco chambers with all trappings of the best ITC components in the world.
This one we just said, okay, let's do one for the governor so that we can have a very quiet place to work. And we finish this in 8 months. This is automated, and a few minutes after ESCO, we will distribute all the minutes. And then I don't need to be in the state to hold ESCO. So that thing they were saying, the governor when people say it's not around. They can't say it's not final. Because even when I was in Ghana, we were communicating with the commissioner. And what normally happens is, if I'm outside the country, a drip will drop from there in front of you. And the governor will appear. You will see the governor will see you, then you start with interaction. And we take decisions together. So this is e-government compliance. You should have the best video conferencing, not Skype.
In that design, took up the brains of His Excellency. He said, this is exactly what I want, and that's what we duplicated that. He did not want a Google's facility. He wanted state-of-the-art facility. He wanted an ICT center where he could stay anywhere in the world to do a conference, we hold ESCO meetings, and even interacting with other state governments or even the presidency. So when we started the lodge, and of course the ICT was segmented, was only at the lodge, because other facilities we realized that had failed, in the whole government complex, looking at the former metro buildings and all of that were within the facility itself or the layout. So when we had the ICT secluded at the lodge, we knew that when we were building this office, we will of course integrate. As we are building new facilities, we are integrating the new ICT centers. And for the ESCO hall itself, we went for the state-of-the-art. We started with the communication system and then went into internet, and then demanded that we have the DSTV. In terms of breaking news, in terms of watching Akwaibom State news, in terms of breaking news internationally, you could actually have a reference, during ESCO periods, and to bring in such issues, and then internet is a given.
The governor's office is a one-stop center in the hand of the governor. In it, you have the ESCO chambers. The ESCO chambers is the best ESCO chambers anywhere in the world. That is ICT compliant. They can stand the test. So the technology is the latest, the very latest globally. So you have that. And like I said, the governor does not need to be in attendance in ESCO before you can have ESCO. Before you can have ESCO meeting anywhere in the world where we have e-conferencing equipment. The governor can stay there and then do ESCO effectively with ESCO members in Akwaibom State. Another beauty of ESCO is that it is the moment ESCO proceeding is finished, we can have print out of the ESCO meeting there and then without having to go home and come back. The other thing is that everything is electronically managed. You can draw, if you want to make reference, if you are in ESCO and you want to make, there's something that is controversial, you want to make reference, you can turn on the internet and get all the things you need, all the answers to the question you want at the same time. If you want, there's a breaking news in Nigeria, if you don't want to hear, you can turn on the DSTV and hear the breaking news right there at that point. So the ESCO chambers is very fitting and up to date. So we also have the restaurant on the ground floor. We also have the restaurants. We also have the tea room. We also have the major, very wide reception at that level, reception where you are received and admitted into the governor's office, the first level, and then you have a waiting wing where you wait, to be taken up to see the governor. Then also down there we have several toilets which were lacking in the previous governor's office. Toilet for male and toilet for female, toilet for visitors. They are all present in the governor's office. We also have what we call the press center, where the Commissioner of Information briefed the press immediately after his committee. There are two lifts, one for private to the governor, one for the public. You have two staircases, one private to the governor, one for the public. Then we have offices also down there. The permanent secretary is in one of the offices down there. Then at the first floor level, where the governor's office proper is, we have the governor's office proper. We have the governor's meeting room proper. We have his recording studio at that level. We also have the governor's course call room at that level. We have the governor's private lounge at that level. We have the governor's private dining at that level. We have a line of offices for his security and other aides, the PA, the doctor, the personal physician. They also have their office at that level. So we have his personal secretary also have an office at that level. And then at that level again, we have a reception, a second level reception. We are giving a clearance to see the governor. At the first level, you are taken up to that second level, and you are also given another seat there where you wait to see the governor, and at that point you are free to see the governor. So that's how the arrangement is. And we have a garage at the back. He has 3 entrances. One is private to the governor, where he drives his car, and at the press of a button, the garage will open. It's automated. The garage is automated to the governor's car. On the approach of the governor's car, the garage will open, the governor will drive here, and the garage will come down. And then we have a private entrance, another entrance that is private to ESCO members. All ESCO members pass through that entrance. And then we also have another entrance which you call the public entrance. Members of the public also pass through that entrance.
Concrete building is by concrete, by normal materials. It's a steel roof. Windows, we have a high tech on a video conference in the council chamber. It's updated the news system what's available worldwide, and we have security areas where everything is bulletproofed for the governor office area. We have a separate entrance for the governor with garage. So it's a 2-storage building.
To the pleasant surprise of all, Julius Berger completed the job within 8 months, 4 months ahead of its stipulated completion period, and during another of his numerous visits to the state, Mr. President inaugurated the edifice.
Mr. President, sir, it is my privilege as one of your sons to invite you as the father of the nation and the father of Akwaibom said once again, we commissioned this edifice for the use of whoever will be governor of Akwaibom, said starting with me, henceforth. Let me really commend the governor of Akwaibom State. But I do really need to go because 3 months back I was there and I'm here. When he told me about this and I will continue to come as long as project that returns to life of people. Because they are so transformed with you to the extent that it is difficult for another person to come and make an impact. So I have to thank the governor for what you have done and for this beautiful edifice. The governor's office and for the president, thank you for doing a wonderful job. It's quite good. And anything they involved, it's just of civil engineering to acquire please. And there are 2 aspects of the chambers. I have to commend you for that because even at the center, we are just trying to change our own. It has been always manual. It's now that we are trying to do what we have already done in Akwaibom. We have to commend the initiative. And I'm indeed happy to be associated with this great project. I hereby commission this office complex for the use of Governor Akwaibom and subsequent governors that will be privileged
by the grace of God and the grace of Akwaibom people to govern this great state, and for making Akwaibom state one of the great states in Nigeria, not just in the south, but in this country. So today we are commissioning this project for the use of the state governor and government and all others who would have one thing or the other to do in Uyo Akwaibom state. We are doing this commissioning in the honor and glory of God. Amen.
Another significant stride of the state government is a brand new banquet hall. Built on the site which housed the old Metro Hotel, the building's tastefully finished and masterfully furnished setting is another testimony to the class and taste of Governor Akpabio and his administration.
There used to be one hotel. It wasn't just a ring, it was a major security risk to the government quarters, government house quarters. So the governor decided that we should bring it down and then replace it with those facilities you are seeing. So among the early decisions the governor took was to direct that we bring up guest houses to represent all the states of the South. We want to name, eventually we want to name all the guest houses to different states of the South. So he said bring out, so we brought out those guest houses you are seeing. We have the VIP, which is invariably sometimes is used by the vice president when it comes. We brought up another double wing guest house, which was commissioned by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. We brought up one for the Deputy Governor. There's a guest house for the Deputy Governor. We brought up another one, two other single ones, that are also located at that vicinity, So you can see that there's a total overhaul of that place that used to be like a forest, into an updated modern buildings. Because I'm using the word modern building because all the buildings you are seeing there, all the guest houses you are seeing there, are in terms of electronics, in terms of security coverage, in terms of communications, they are up to date. And now we also have a place we call the technical area. In the technical area, we have constructed for the first time in the history of Akwaibom for 25 years what we call a sewage system, central sewage system, so that all the facilities, whether you are dealing with the government house, you are dealing with the governor's office, the old or the new one, you are dealing with guest houses or the old ones and the new ones, we have a central sewage system where all the wastes are collected, and not just collected, but they are processed into manure, wet and dry manure. So that's what we have. Then we also have the water system, a central water system for all the facilities you have there. Then we have a central power system for all the facilities you have there. We have central security control for all the facilities you have there. We have a BMS, building management system for all the facilities you have there, old and new ones. Then we have a DSTV, that also connects all the buildings you have there. So the entirety of that place is a complex, connected by different facilities, different devices, different systems that makes it look like a functional whole.
In keeping with the tradition of inviting high-profile personalities to inaugurate 10 key projects in the state, the governor of Anambra State and an in-law of the state, Mr. Peter Obi, was invited to do the inauguration of the building on a day the state marked its 24th year of existence.
What is happening in Akwaibom? You might not appreciate because you see it every day. But everywhere in Nigeria and beyond, whenever you mention the state that are doing well, you mention Akwaibom. I commissioned this government hall, best of its kind in Nigeria, praying to the Almighty God that this facility will help in building a better Akwaibom, a better Nigeria, to the glory of God. Amen.
Some prominent personalities who have visited the facilities speak on their impression.
Anybody who knew Akwaibom before cannot recognize it today. The change has been simply phenomenal. I must congratulate His Excellency Gospel Akpabio for a fantastic job of transformation. He has really transformed the state, and I'm very proud of him.
What we saw here today, honestly, and I never believed the Nigerian governor could do this. he has really transformed his state. He has laid a very good and solid foundation. I wonder who will ever fit into his shoes. It's just too much.
Indicative of the hottest destination status of the state, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Aminu Tambuwai, was on hand to inaugurate a set of guest houses adjoining the banquet hall, designed to ensure that high-profile guests who have been besieging the state in their numbers have no problem with accommodation whenever they come calling. Across the length and breadth of the state, the people are ecstatic with the massive infrastructural renaissance engineered by the Chief Dr. Godswill Akpabio-led administration. They are particularly thrilled with the massive first lift extended to the government house and its immediate environs.
In Akwaibom, I think we have never had it so good, but for every government, it has a lifespan and it has a vision, but he's been able to put into practice, as he had said, he's pragmatic and practical. He's done it. And his name has gone into checkers, annals of history, and letters of gold, not even red, but gold. That he's been a man that has turned around the event in Akwaibom State.
Thank you, sir.
So I commend him.
If you bring somebody into this state one day, if he spends a night here, that person will really appreciate the fact that there have been tremendous changes in the state. You talk about development. What do you want? Is it the road that we are driving on, where we are sitting? We are breathing new air. I have to be very sincere to you. The air we are breathing, because if you have a good environment to stay, you would notice the air that we are breathing will be different. Just like we are living in one room apartment, and then the other person is living in 2 rooms, and the other person in 3-bedroom flats. When you walk into your house, you enjoy where you are going in. So as far as Akwaibom State is concerned, Akwaibom of today is quite different. It's just like there had been, the changes that we are seeing is like we've been for more than, you compare the past 8 years to what is happening, it's just like a history that had taken place maybe for the past 40 years.
As a businessman, I must really commend what he has done. And that what he has done should be put in context. He wants a fast developing state. So the first thing is to put infrastructure for development, infrastructure that will support commerce and industry and education.
A visit to the area of the Hilton Mansion reveals that indeed Governor Akpabio is a miracle worker, especially given the short period within which this transformation has taken place. It is no exaggeration that anyone who last visited the Hilton Mansion and the adjoining areas in 2007 would be amazed at how vast and fast the vicinity has changed for good. Chief Godswill Akpabio has undoubtedly proved cynics wrong and has justified Tom Clancy's axiomatic postulation that man is a creature of hope and invention, both of which belie the idea that things can only be changed. This can only be God's will for Akwaibom State, and it pays we don't forget the road that took us here. To God be the glory.
Zenith Bank Media, in collaboration with the Bureau of Technical Matters and Ministry of Information and Communications, present Lest We Forget, a celebration of the magical and pragmatic strides of the Chief Godswill Akpabio administration in closing the loud development gulf between the past and the present in Akwaibom State. Lest we forget the true story of uncommon transformation.